Hi, this is Christopher with another episode of What's Brewing. We've got a special guest at Pho Clay to go. Diane is going to be here with me. Before we start, let's roll that beautiful B-roll. Diane, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so my name is Diane Phakkonekham. I am from New Iberia. I worked at AT&T for almost a decade, and one day I decided to quit, and I just never turned back. So COVID happened. I worked at a family friend's restaurant, the Cajun Table in Lafayette, and COVID came and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? So one day I made pho for my mom and my dad and my brother said, damn, this is pretty good. And I was like, are you sure? Like, don't make my head big. So mom was like, yeah, this is actually better than mine. So, you know, like, we didn't know how long unemployment was gonna last for. We didn't know how long the pandemic was gonna last for. So I was like, okay, I gotta figure out something because, like, we gotta figure out something. So whenever I was laying down in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning eating Reese's, something not supposed to do.
Not sponsored.
No. And I was like, okay, Pho Clay to go. Like, pho, he likes noodles. My son name is Clayton, but we call him Clay for short.
Okay.
And we were always on the go. So every weekend we're like, Mom, where are we going? Where are we going? I'm like, okay, you wanna go somewhere? Let's go. He's like, all right, let's go.
Wow.
And that just came to fruition. So like, it's just the best thing ever. So I actually did the business from home.
Really?
So like, I knew it was like something not to do, but like, I mean, we all got to start somewhere.
That's
we
right,
all have to survive. So whenever I did, I wasn't expecting to like be big. I was just like giving out free food at first to like my close friends and family and people that I knew that was like, I guess kind of like big or like popular.
Right, yeah.
So like I did it and they were like, hey, can you come to Lafayette, or like, can you come to like Abbeville and stuff like that? And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, so this is really going somewhere.
Yeah.
So I saved up money, and then I ran into Amy Wellborn. She actually was the owner of Hungry as a Mother. So I used to live down a road like 10 years ago on off Morgan Street in front of the church. Mm-hmm. And so like, whenever I started the business, I knew this building was already here.
Yeah.
So like, whenever I started my business a few months before, I was like, I want to have a building like that. Like, I'm going to have a building like that. So I prayed about it, I manifested it. And one day, like, Amy was like, hey, do you want to be in a building with me? Like, I'm at this building. And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually the building that I was like praying for.
Wow.
And then, yeah, so it just started from there.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's exciting. I think one of the things that we were talking about, Huya, we're going to be doing a video with them. David said this is a quote that he said he was in a season of his life where he couldn't find work, so he made work. And that was it. I was like, that's such an interesting idea. But that's your story too. You're like, hey, I'm leaving corporate. Let's go do something. And you know, in a time where a lot of folks couldn't find work, you made work by starting your business, and that is so inspiring. That's impressive.
And I don't know, I'm actually kind of emotional too, because I don't think I've ever said this. I mean, like, of course, obviously my friends and family know, but my son's dad passed away 3 years ago, and we were together. So like, whenever he passed away, like, it kind of like made me kind of step up my game. Like, okay, like, working at AT&T, it was like an all-day thing. So you're there from 8 to 6 or 10 to 8. Or like 11 to 8 or whatever. So like, I didn't mind doing that whenever he was a kid, because like, I was making the money. So it was like I had to, like, I didn't have a choice pretty much. I mean, I had a choice. If I could have grew up, or I could have like stayed like and did whatever. But like, whenever he passed away, and I'm like, okay, I gotta step up my game, because like, he's gonna get older, he's gonna ask what happened, he's gonna like ask to go on trips, and like, I've always turned him down. Or like, if I ask for a weekend off, I can't have the weekend off, but I can have another weekend off, or I can just have a day off. Yeah. And then so like, it kind of took a toll on me, because like I said, he's getting older, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he wants to travel, he wants to go to Disney, he wants to go to the beach. Yeah. He just wants to like a day off just to go to Chuck E. Cheese, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
Those life experiences.
Yeah. And then so like, one day I was like, you know what? I'm on my lunch break, I'm not going back. Yeah, I'm not going back. And
She went out for some food and she just
yeah,
never came back.
I went on my lunch break. I didn't go back, and I was like, you know what, this like, Clay, let's go. So that same weekend, we went to Dallas to go to the Oktoberfest in Dallas, and it was like literally the best thing ever. Honestly, I don't regret it. I'm sorry, but I don't regret it.
Well,
But,
sometimes there's extreme action that needs to be taken. It's one of those things where unless we make ourselves change, we won't. Right, and sometimes I think there are these keystone moments where you're like, it's now or never. I'm either going to go right now, or I will sort of stay in this. Right? Yeah, I'm in a loop.
Because I've always been scared too, because you know, like, people always have something to say.
Oh yeah,
and
people have opinions.
You want to like be the best you can be, but other people frown about it. So whenever I mean, I spoke about doing this before. And they're like, LOL, like, do you know how many people that are in the business? Like, how are you gonna survive? And I'm like, well, if I don't jump ship, like, who's gonna do it for me, you know?
You've got to there's an element of just absolute faith when you do it. For me, when I started Rooted in 2014, scared to death. I didn't have business training. I've worked in businesses. I'm pretty good with the operating business, but like running the whole ship, like freak out moment. But I realized I needed to, at some point, forge my own destiny, build something. You know, not everyone that I talked to was super supportive. They were like, you know, you should just go work for someone and just, you know, do the long-term strategy. And I was like, well, I feel like I've got something that I want to do. You know, it could all crumble. You know, there's just no guarantees.
You
but
just kind of don't know until you get there.
You don't. And you learn a lot. There's so many growing pains when you're running a business, that things that you didn't know before. But I think that's one of the reasons I love being a small business owner, is it really, there's the initial like satisfaction of doing your own thing, but then the personal growth, the ability to have time with your family, children, that's irreplaceable, because you'll never get that back. And a small business, while it's, you know, people say you're your own boss, I feel like I've got 100 bosses, because all my customers, you know, they're all pulling for your time. But you can make some decisions for yourself to say, you know what, I need family time. I got to step away. You have that agency when it's your thing. So I think, you know, you took a bold move, and I like it. I think we're in Broussard better because of it, because you've added, you know, this flavor to the community. No pun intended. Okay, the pun was intended.
The flavor's there.
The flavor's there here. And you know, my understanding is, as a single mom, you did this. I think that, to me, when I saw that, I said, you know, I don't want to say the odds are stacked against you, but there's a lot of things, a lot of pressures that, having been raised by a single mom, my mom just recently moved to the area, I watched her. That was tough. But to do this and hear your story that you're doing this for your family, to me, that those watching should be like, that takes a lot of courage, and we should support that. You're the kind of person we should get behind, because you're doing it for the right reason, to be with your family, to you know, launch your dream, but also because there are, I'm sure, a lot of others who are watching thinking, well, I had dreams once, and I didn't make that choice. I stayed after lunch instead of taking the road less traveled. So I think to me, that's what made your story so compelling, I think.
It does. You know, being a business owner, it's like you get so much recognition, which I'm so grateful for, but at the same time, it's just like, it's hard some days, because like you always want to please your customers and like the people around you. It's only because like your food is like your passion.
Yep.
Like a few weeks ago, like I actually closed for 2 weeks because I was just feeling down. Like I was just like, I just feel like I couldn't go anymore.
Wow.
And then so like whenever I got in the kitchen, I was like, okay, this is like my dream. Like I gave up my 10-year career for this, so we're doing this today. And I was just like kept talking to myself, and I was like, okay, I feel better. But it's just like, I've met so many people along the way. Like whenever I did it from home, my first day, I was like, you know what, if I can be a single mom and raise my kid and work full time, I can do anything.
Yep.
So whenever I did it, I wasn't expecting to have like 30 orders, or like I actually started on Google Doc.
Okay.
So it was like 30 like people listed on Google Doc. And I was like, okay, this is bad. This is not going so well. So, you know, like, we're just going to try to wing it, I guess. So, I mean, my first day I cried. I'm not going to lie. I really cried because I didn't know what I was doing. But, I mean, it took some time. I've gotten used to, like, the different things and, like, the time and stuff like that. But I literally do not regret it. Like, like Dave and like the guys at Huya, they're always cheering me on. Like I met other business owners as well, and like, Diane, you got this. Like they always check up on me, they always like contact me, they always come visit.
That's
and
so
like
amazing.
it's just nice because like, you know, like whenever you worked at like a corporate job, like you meet people and like you become friends with them, but like I think being a business owner and being in like a new environment, I guess it's like it makes your experience 10 times better, and I think that's what keeps me going as well.
Well, there's a movie, I don't know if you've seen it, I believe it's The Chef. Is it The Chef? The Chef. That's Mark off camera. So Jon Favreau, he's done, that's Mark. We love film. So Jon Favreau, he does Iron Man, The Mandalorian, but his personal passion is cooking. To me, your story, I think everyone, if you've not watched that movie, spoilers, he's this kind of like well-to-do chef. He's wanting to get out of his comfort zone. He gets, I don't want to ruin it for you, he goes through some tough times, but he gets back in the kitchen. And that's some of the most epic shots that you see him is every time he's having this sort of crisis of belief, he goes back into the kitchen. He goes back to where it all started and what he loved. And that sounds like that's what kind of pulled you out. Because I think that's the unspoken truth about being a business owner. There are some amazing highs and there are some amazing lows. I was telling my wife this week, normally I'm a pretty, I don't want to say a positive person, but I'm pretty upbeat, I'm pretty confident. I've struggled with anxiety and low self-esteem for years, but in the last probably 5 years, I felt like things are going, good things are gonna happen. Gosh darn it, it's gonna be great. But I had a couple weeks where I was just feeling down. A few things happened, and it's funny how just these little things can really knock you off your horse. They can really make you feel unsure and second guess yourself. And I think the community, you know, we started here doing a lot of these interviews in Broussard because as we've gotten to know, there are some amazing businesses here and some folks. Obviously, you know, good people don't stop at the border of Broussard. There's Youngsville, Lafayette, there's good people everywhere.
There's everywhere.
You know, we just have an amazing group of small businesses that are so caring. As we've gotten to know them, it's been awesome to see that support because I've never met a business person who didn't need encouragement. You know, either they're lying to me and they said, you know, we're good. That's usually like, okay, you're circling the wagons, you're building walls. But I love meeting honest ones who are like, I had a bad day. I thought about quitting. That realness, I think, is so important because I have those feelings. There were times where I'm like, did I make a mistake? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I good enough? And the answer is yeah. Yeah, you've got a vision, you've got a passion. You are just the right person and the right business for this season. And you need that push sometimes because, you know, maybe greatness is around the corner and you're just, you know, you're seeing the turn and, oh, there's no hope. But, you know, if you just keep going and surround yourself with people who say, listen, you can do it and I'll help you. I think that's powerful. And I've tried to build those kind of friends and be that kind of friend with folks because we all need that. What would you say, you know, day to day is your biggest challenge? You know, having a family, having this, what's your biggest struggle on a daily basis to keep this thing going?
Honestly, it's just bringing in more business, I guess. But since the last few segments that I did with other news stations, it has really helped a lot. Yeah. And it was so crazy because, like I said, I closed for 2 weeks recently because I was like just feeling down and depressed about it. And I was at a gas station, like literally that gas station down the road. And there's this old lady, she was like, whatever you're doing, just keep going. And I'm like, what? Okay, like, all right then, we're just gonna keep going.
That's
like,
a word right there, yeah.
And then I didn't really think of anything too much because after 2 weeks, you know, like you kind of lose, like, I guess business. Yeah. Closing, and they kind of forget about you and stuff like that. And just being honest, so I was gonna throw in the towel, to be honest. I was gonna say, like, we're just gonna go home and close. Like, just me being negative, of course, and then like something just like, I woke up one day, something just motivated me. I was like, no, we're not gonna quit. We're gonna keep going. Clay, wake up, we're going to the restaurant at 5 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, okay.
Sure, Mom.
Let's go, yeah. And he also motivates me too. He's like, Mom, you did a good job today. Or like before we leave, he's like, we go to the restaurant. All right, let's go get some food for me and let's go to the restaurant. I'm like, okay, like you're gonna eat good for breakfast, I guess.
That's awesome.
I know.
And sometimes it takes that, you know, just a fresh perspective, a new day is so important. Well, speaking of things to promote your business, so I always ask this. It's a tough thing because you make everything, right? So like you probably love everything. But if someone's coming here, what are a couple dishes you would say, hey, listen, if you're new to all this, you don't know what to do, what would be a couple things you'd recommend that someone who's watching this would enjoy trying?
I always recommend the egg rolls. I mean, because like everyone loves egg rolls. You can't go wrong. There's like egg rolls at the grocery store that people buy frozen. There's homemade, there's like the ones at the buffet. You can't go wrong with egg rolls. Everyone eats egg rolls. And I always recommend egg rolls and also the beef pho and chicken pho.
Okay. I need to try that. I haven't. I've had the egg rolls. My wife and I love egg rolls, so I would agree that's probably a safe place to start. Now, for the more daring, what would be one of the dishes that you might say might be a niche dish that the average person wouldn't necessarily try, but maybe someone who is more experienced with pho would say, you should try mine. Mine's going to make you rethink your whole life decision and just be glad you came and ate. What would be that dish?
I mean, you can't go wrong with the vermicelli bowls too. So it's kind of like a spring roll, but it's like without the wrap. So it's like a huge bowl of like the stuffing of an inside of the spring roll.
I'm getting hungry.
What I recently just started doing like a few days ago actually was I started doing the egg roll in a bowl because a lot of people, they're gluten-free or like they're allergic to wheat.
Oh yeah, okay.
So like, and obviously the wrap has all of that. So like there were a lot of customers that come and say, hey, like I want to try the egg rolls, but I can't. And so like I was like literally fixing to take a nap and I woke up and I was like, we should do egg rolls in a bowl. And I was like, I think that's gonna like do well. So whenever I did it, they was like, you finally did it. Cause like most people, like they go to restaurants and they try to cater to them, but they kind of can't too, you know? Yeah. So like, that's what I wanna do because if I was like having some things I can't eat, I guess. Yeah. Like I would want somebody to cater to me.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So like that, so that's a really good one too.
Okay, that's good to know because I'm a diabetic, so that I can do certain amount of things that have like carbs, like anything breads and noodles. So like I'm always I can do it, but there's a cost to it, and it's really neat when we see places that are considering all the different. There's so many things out there: diabetes, allergies. It's a minefield when you're cooking, right, of all these things. But just the other day, I saw a business that traditionally didn't offer, for example, sugar-free drinks, start doing it. And I was like, that's really cool. For years, I wasn't in that category. And then all of a sudden, you're like, you look at the landscape of eating, it's like, ooh, there's now like sort of these other
options that wasn't
there before.
Yeah.
I love that you do that. It shows that you're listening to your customers, and I would say if you are a customer, let her know. It seems like you're very creative with your cooking and you get a lot of inspiration and then you go and do it, which I think is really fascinating.
A lot of people ask me like, hey, did you like, is this like your mom's recipe? And I said, no, I just wing it. like everything. They're like, hey, can you make this and that? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but if you show me a picture, I can probably put it together.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I also, the Cajun Table I said before, they are actually like a family friend. I would kind of consider them my son's side of the family. I actually worked there like during the pandemic, and there were this kid that went in, and I think I was waiting on them. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I was. His mom was like, okay, like, I know that you guys use the same grill, and I know that you guys like kind of use like all of the same things in the kitchen. Yeah. She was like, my son can't have this, my son can't have that. And then so like looking at them literally inspires me because they've obviously been in the business longer than I have. Yeah. So for them to like cater to that child, it like means so much to me because, and also it kind of like taught me things as well that you can cater to this person, but also they can spread the word and say, hey, my son is this, that he's allergic to certain items. Yeah. That like you kind of lose cost in that in a way because like you're kind of like going out of your pocket more, like wasting time. But like they did it, and the fact that they did it, it literally like inspires me because like anything can happen. Like you either want to do it or you just want to say no. Yeah. And he was like literally the happiest kid because like he ate, and that's really awesome. There
are some things that count that can't be counted. We can talk about, how much it costs to get, food. We can talk about operation costs, but when you can make someone's day like that, and it's special, and it can turn into a regular menu item because folks may say, well, I'm really glad you did that because there may end up being this very large segment of folks that are like, I'm that. And that makes you, you know, the technical term, the business term is market differentiator. It makes you sort of stand out from the crowd. Everyone has these standard options. Well, I've got these special options that you might become known for, which is always, that's the fun thing about business. It's very much like art, because it's not always linear and static and these are the straight lines that you have to fit within. You can sort of bleed outside or color outside of those lines because it's your business, and forge new paths that others who either didn't have the vision or the courage or couldn't see the business sense of it, you say, we've turned this into a thing, right? That's so great. So I'll end on this. If you were talking to someone who is just getting into business for the first time, what would you tell them, right? What would you tell that person, or maybe yourself, you know, a year ago or so? What would you tell yourself that would push you over the edge to jump in and start your own business?
If that was me that I told myself a year ago, I would have been like, darn girl, why didn't you do this a long time ago whenever you had the chance to do it? But I just always tell people just jump.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. Like I had high hopes for myself,
yeah.
But you know, like I said, they always have that one person that don't.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, like somebody got to put food on my kid's table.
That's right.
So either I'm not gonna, like, if I'm gonna do it, or if I'm not gonna do it, who's gonna do it for me?
That's right.
So I just always tell people, just do it. You just never know. And also, what also helps too is, I've always been a people's person, but working at AT&T literally helped me, like, I guess, be better with communicating with people,
yeah.
and just, I guess, marketing myself.
Yep.
So that helped a lot. So like, it just kind of taught me how to like market and talk to people and stuff like that, and just pretty much reach for your dreams.
Yeah. Well, listen, I love that idea. Jump and reach for your dreams, you know, have that courage to do it. Well, Dan, it has been absolutely fantastic I know you're a busy business owner, and so it's such a privilege to sit down with you. Thank you so much for taking the time today to share your story.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
I've loved hearing it. It's everything I thought it would be and more, and we're going to continue to support you by coming here more and more often and driving business your way. If you are watching this, you need to check out Pho Clay to go. We're going to put all the social media information, ways to find them, the address. Please go check them out. At least check them out once. I think once you try them, you'll get hooked. So I'm sorry if you're spending more and more time here, but I know Diane will not be sorry if you do. She'll appreciate the business. So go support her. Go support what she's trying to do. We think Broussard is just incredibly lucky to have her. So we hope that you're doing well. We hope you're doing safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like all this content, and we'll see you in the next one.